Hey everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by the progressive metal band Textures with their brand new album Genotype. So Textures had disbanded between their last album and this one actually went through a bit of hell to make. And the reason I say that's because Genotype was an album, I don't know how far in development it was, but songs were already pitched for it. I feel like they already had these songs finished, and they decided to scrap them because it wasn't up to the standard they wanted it to be. So as they scrapped them, either that was after or before the hiatus, but the band eventually got back together 2023. I'm thinking now that the album was worked on first, scrapped, and then worked on again after they came back. But they came back, and then now we got Genotype 10 years after we had the last album, Phenotype, which in my opinion probably is my favourite, or at least definitely one of my top Textures albums. So I was going to see how Genotype holds up between that. So in this progressive metal aspect, we had 3 singles for this 8-track album, and they have been interesting. Closer to the Unknown is a good one. I quite enjoyed this one a bit. Not a song that stood out necessarily, but I think in the context of the record it's definitely an enjoyable experience. Then we also had At the Edge of Winter, which featured Charlotte Vessels, or Wessels as you want to call it, which yeah, I think it's definitely a unique part to have this feature, and it kind of makes the song stand out a little bit more, make it have a little bit more, I guess, versatility, because you definitely need some of that when we have this record, and also when you're doing your progressiveness, you want it to be as versatile as you can. And Vanishing Twin, the 3rd single and final single of the record, which I did talk about this one, and I thought it was decent, but I did have a few minor problems with it that dragged it down for me. But the album generally explores some great ideas. I think the instrumentation is just as good as it was. Not the most standout they've been. I don't think there's a riff that made me think, holy shit, they are absolutely back. But the drumming from Steph here is still fantastic. The way he plays with polyrhythms, the overall flow he gets into, it's still here. It still feels like we've got the solid lineup of Textures members, and we are still exploring a good era of this band. But if I do have one gripe with the record, despite how the instrumentation are good, the vocals are definitely what you'd expect, and it sounds pretty good in general. The biggest downfall has got to be building up songs and the climax of it. For example, Vanishing Twin, that's one of my biggest gripes of the record. Decent sounding song, I think, minus the build up and climax being the issue of it. The song itself was pretty good. I like the instrumentals, I like the vocals on this one, and I just feel like the bits of uncleans they provide into a lot of these tracks, especially Vanishing Twin, just as a lovely addition. Vanishing Twin does have this build-up feel to it, like the song's trying to really build up to its best point, and by the time you get to the end it just feels like a bit of an underwhelming climax. They do have moments like this throughout the record as well. I even feel the final track does have a bit of this, and then as you kind of get to the end of the song, it's just kind of this more melodic, slower tone to really give you this time to think about the experience and wonder what's coming next, if they will have another album, and this hopefully isn't a one-off. But I just think with this idea, it just feels like it works in some cases, but other cases it doesn't. It makes some songs pay off. Like, I love A Seat for the Like-Minded, definitely one of my favourite tracks here, and Measure in the Heavens as well works really good in this favour. But some songs like Nautical Dusk, decent song, I just don't think it really pays off. And as I said, with Walls of the Soul as well, it's got a lot of variety, this record, but I just feel like it needed a bit more execution in this part, and I know that they had to rewrite the whole album, so there's definitely a lot more focus here. And then, honestly, if they had to rewrite the album to get something more proud of, then I think this probably is the better of the 2 we could have had. I feel like the previous stuff could have been better potentially, but this is more the stuff the band wanted to get out sound-wise, so I'm not complaining with that. Textures here is just absolutely pretty good, be honest. I still think, despite the issues, it's a very enjoyable album. It does have a lot of fun polyrhythms, and every time I listen to Textures, it always just reminds me of some bands like VOLA, but in their more djenty era, and I just love hearing kind of like the djent progressive metal feel that albums like this can give. It's a very nice touch, and I think Textures is definitely an underrated prog metal artist, and they definitely need a lot more attention. Definitely a Dutch band that kind of needs to rise up, because there is a lot of good shit here. So it's nice to see that they have kind of come back after the disbandment in 2018. So yeah, honestly, Genotype is a good album. It's a good follow-up. Not the best though. I feel like the last two albums, Phenotype and Dualism, are definitely stronger, but the quality here is still there. Production, it sounds crisp, it sounds nice, it's got some great ideas to it, and yeah, I'm definitely still enjoying this one. It's an album I can go back to and think, yeah, this is a pretty good listen. So I'm going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. It's pretty good. So hope you'll enjoy, thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.